And now, ladies and gentlemen, from the heart of the Inland Empire, right here in sunny Southern California, it's Robert Cardoza Live, where we talk about politics, money, and you. This is the intersection of business and politics. And now here's your host, Robert Cardoza.
And welcome aboard. I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to the intersection of business and politics right here on Robert Cardoza Live, where I do an honest, unbiased analysis of the issues confronting you today that affect the decisions that you're going to make for both your personal and your business life. I come to you every Monday through Friday on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, and MyCast Live Radio from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time. Also on 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time, in addition to countless terrestrial stations worldwide. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com for archives of all my radio and television shows. You can also access my show live right from my website each day, simply by clicking on that little icon labeled Listen Live. Email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where you get all the emails I deal with here on the show. And you can call into my show if you want to comment or just engage me in conversation about anything. You can call directly into the studio at 909-545-6516. Again, that number, 909-545-6516. On today's show, we're going to discuss what's in the news, new legislation, the IRS loses, and I'm going to answer your emails just like I always do. On today's show, special segments with Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless. He's going to be talking about the new wireless issues that are going to be effective, or not effective today, but we'll know about today. He's always got interesting information. And Ray Mailer will be here. He's going to continue his series, The American Grid. He's going to be talking about an extension of the transportation line into Ontario, California. He's going to be talking about some water facts I didn't know anything about. And so we'll see what it is that he's got to talk about. But right now I want you to stand by for news. But first, I want you to know that 3:03 p.m. Pacific Time, it is currently 91 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, it's time for me to let you know about the 10 things that you need to know for today, Wednesday. It's going to be your daily look at late-breaking news, upcoming events, and the stories that'll be talked about all day today and tomorrow. We've encapsulated these so we can kind of tell you what's hot in the news today, and then I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on it after we get these 10 items out of here and under your belt. First off, how Hillary Clinton hopes to win her party's nomination. The Democratic frontrunner has increasingly moved to the left on domestic policy since announcing her campaign this spring. And evidence in air disaster points to pro-Russian separatists in the Ukraine. The missile that brought down Malaysia Flight 17 last year was launched from an area controlled by rebels fighting Ukrainian forces, investigators say. And the United States help for Syrian rebels butting up against limits. The Obama administration is unlikely to protect the CIA-backed rebels from Russian airstrikes by providing them with surface-to-air missiles, for example. Officials say, God only knows what would happen if we hit the Russians, right? And Planned Parenthood changing a policy in response to furor. The organization says it will no longer accept any reimbursement for the costs of making fetal tissue available for research. And social media helping fuel the wave of violence by Palestinians. Amateur videos promote revenge attacks by showing Israeli forces seemingly using excessive force. And why Playboy will no longer run nude photos? Well, these days you can see far more explicit stuff on your phone than anything Hugh Hefner probably imagined when he launched his pioneering Skin magazine 62 years ago. And police are probing attack in the church in upstate New York. A couple's charged with fatally beating their 19-year-old son inside the Word of Life Church, and 4 fellow church members are charged with assault. Hey, Jamaican writer honored with the Booker Prize. Marlon James wins the prestigious prize for fiction for his novel based on the attempted assassination of Bob Marley. And who's blaming herself for earning less than male co-stars? Well, Jennifer Lawrence says she didn't seek more money for her role in American Hustle, partly because she didn't want to come across as difficult or spoiled. And then finally, the Cubs knock the Cardinals from the playoffs. Chicago wins the NL Division series in 4 games, clinching a postseason series at Wrigley Field for the first time ever. Isn't that fantastic? Well, let's get to a little bit more in-depth news here. Let's talk about the debate the day after. Sanders raises cash, and Clinton, well, her camp is really pleased. Bernie Sanders' campaign said it raised nearly $2 million from the first Democratic debate of 2016 race, and social media metrics show he was the most searched candidate on Google and most discussed on Facebook and Twitter. Meanwhile, Hillary Rodham Clinton's backers celebrated the day after what some said was the best 2 hours of her campaign. We were over the moon, said former Michigan Governor Jennifer Granholm, a Clinton backer who'd traveled to Las Vegas to watch the first such confrontation between the 2016 Democratic nomination contenders. On morning cable news programs, Granholm could barely contain her glee. It was such a great night, she said, on MSNBC's Morning Joe. Both Sanders and Clinton were looking to build Wednesday on their strong Democratic presidential debate performances as the rest of the field struggled to gain traction. The debate, commanded by Clinton and Sanders, appeared to narrow any opening for a presidential bid by Vice President Joe Biden. Democratic strategists said Biden watched the Tuesday matchup from Washington. I was proud, he said today during a White House meeting on infrastructure. I thought every one of those folks last night, my own prejudice, I thought they all did well. Well, let's see what he thinks in a couple of days. I think it's going to be important, right? But at this point, I think that at least Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton have probably made it impossible for Joe Biden to actually win the Democratic nomination. I think it's a given that it's going to be Hillary Clinton. I don't know what you think. Well, I mean, at least the nomination is going to be Hillary Clinton. I think there's going to be a big race going on the Republican side when you think in terms of Donald Trump, and then you think in terms of Carson, Ben Carson. And you know what? I think that there's some sleepers sitting out there. When Marco Rubio is certainly a sleeper that's sitting out there. And I think that Ted Cruz he's playing it smart. He's hoping that Donald Trump is going to lose his following and that all of those people that are following Trump will go to him. And that would put him pretty much in the lead. So, you got to be careful about all these things when you're working these things and know what's going on. Well, Clinton's strong debate is general election warning for the GOP. Hillary Rodham Clinton's polished performance in the first Democratic debate did more than send a message to her primary rivals. It was a warning to the chaotic Republican field about her likely strength in a general election. Clinton solidified her shift toward more liberal positions on trade, gun control, and immigration, but still stayed largely in step with the battleground state voters she'll need in November of 2016. She also positioned herself as heir to the coalition of women, Hispanics, and black voters that propelled Barack Obama to the White House. Now, do not go away, because when we come back, I want to talk to you about an Associated Press fact check, and that is in the Democratic debate when free isn't free. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. Nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchase high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. You know what? We're talking about the news, and I thought what we should do, I've got some information here. It's an Associated Press fact check. It's in the Democratic debate. When free is not free. So let's talk about this a little bit. When does free cost a lot of money? Well, when its presidential contenders Hillary Rodham Clinton and Bernie Sanders pitch plans for free college tuition, playing down the cost to taxpayers and brushing past assorted other perils to the education system, as happened in the Democratic debate last night. A look at some of the claims to Tuesday night and how they compare with the facts. Now, first off, Clinton. She says, my plan would enable anyone to go to a public college or university tuition free. You would not have to borrow money for tuition. Sanders says, make every public college and university in this country tuition fee. Well, the facts? Free for the students, but someone has to pay. Clinton and Sanders both would shift more college costs onto taxpayers and away from parents and students. Sanders' plan would cover tuition and fees at public universities, a $70 billion annual expense, with the federal government picking up 2/3 of that tab by taxing trading in the financial markets. Students would still be on the hook for room and board costs that average around $9,804, according to the College Board. The Clinton plan is bound to cost more than the $35 billion per year over 10 years projected by her campaign. This is because more students would probably switch to public universities on the potential to graduate without debt, raising costs for the government and potentially leaving many modestly endowed private institutions in the lurch. The potential for a debt-free education would also depend on states providing reliable money streams and controlling costs, both major sources of uncertainty. But the Clinton and Sanders plans would also expose a sharp generational divide. New college students would be helped with the 40 million Americans who already owe a combined $1.2 trillion in educational debt, would receive little aid other than refinancing at lower rates. Neither candidate told TV viewers about the costs of the Treasury of what they propose. Well, Clinton, on her email practices, I have been as transparent as I know to be, I said. I have answered all the questions. The fact, Clinton has yet to explain how the server was set up and serviced, whether she informed the State Department about her decision to use the private system, and, most important, how it was protected from hacking attempts. Russia-based hackers tried at least 5 times to trick her into infecting her computer system with malware in 2011, the Associated Press learned, and her server was hit by attempted cyber intrusions in 2014 from China, South Korea, and Germany. Her server also was connected to the internet in ways that made it more vulnerable to hackers, but her campaign has repeatedly declined to address these details. And then Sanders, almost all the new income and wealth is going to the top 1%. Well, the actual facts? Sanders appears to be relying on outdated data. In the first 5 years of the economic recovery, the 2009 and through 2014, the richest 1% of Americans captured 58% of income growth, according to Emmanuel Says, a University of California economist whose research Sanders uses. While certainly a large gain, that is a lot less than almost all. In just the first 3 years of the recovery, the 2009 through 2012, the richest 1% did capture 91% of the growth in income, but part of that outsized gain came from, or because of, the wealthiest pulled income forward to 2012 in advance of tax increases that took effect in 2013. But part of that occurred because of impending tax increases on the wealthiest Americans that took effect in 2013. You know what? Let's get on to something else. There was a lot of stuff, but you know what? You can look that up yourself. We want to make sure that we're covering everything that is really, really important for you. Now, in a final step, top Iranian council approves the nuclear deal. Well, a senior council of Iranian clerics and lawyers today approved implementing the landmark nuclear deal with world powers, sealing the final required step in the process despite hardliners' efforts to derail it. The Guardian Council's vote, while apparently not unanimous, marks a majority or a major victory for the administration of moderate President Hassan Rouhani, which has campaigned on easing tensions with the West. But it comes as Iran's powerful Revolutionary Guard publicized images of underground missile base and also has fired off a new long-range surface-to-surface rocket, showing hardliners will remain a potent force with the Islamic Republic. Iranian state television announced that decision by the Guardian Council, one of the top leadership bodies in the Iran's cleric rule system. The 12-member council, half appointed by Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Khomeini, and half by the country's judicial chief, with Parliament's approval, must sign off on all bills before they become law. Well, we'll see what happens. Do you really think there was any chance that they weren't gonna do this? That's not a chance in hell, right? Just not a chance. Well, let me leave you with this. Police. Brothers were beaten in church to make them confess. 2 teenage brothers were brutally beaten in church, one fatally, in an effort by their parent, sister, and other members to get them to confess their sins, police said today, in a case involving an insular congregation that had sparked gossip and suspicion among neighbors. Police said spiritual counseling at the Word of Life Church in upstate New York turned into an hours-long attack Sunday night in which Lucas Leonard, 19, and his 17-year-old brother Christopher were pummeled with fists and kicked. They suffered injuries in the abdomen, genitals, back, and thighs. Eventually, Lucas stopped breathing, and relatives took him early Monday to the hospital, where he died, police said. Authorities went to the church and found his younger brother, who was hospitalized in serious condition. Both brothers were subjected to physical punishment over the course of several hours in hopes that each would confess to prior sins and ask for forgiveness, Police Chief Michael Insera said. He said investigators have not determined what the supposed sins actually were. Now, don't go away. When we come back, I'm going to talk about the IRS loses. And you know what? We've got some, the first one is going to be loss deduction is actually allowed on a home's workshop. You'll find this interesting, and I'll tell you all about it in just a couple minutes.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
The story you are about to see is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent.
Oh, yeah, here we are, my favorite part of the show, the IRS loses. Yeah, be honest, right? Do you really want to see them win? No, I don't think so, unless you're really high up and executive with the IRS. And even then, you probably don't like seeing them win. So this has got to send hair up on the back of your neck. So let's get right to it. The first case that I have with the IRS, it's a split case. It says a loss deduction is allowed on a home's workshop. So here's the case. A couple's home was appraised at $199,000 when they spent $16,000 adding an attached workshop to it. Now, they sold the home 2 years later for $203,000. The home sale was tax-free, but the couple claimed a loss on the sale of the workshop, while the IRS said that they had a gain. Now, the IRS's position, the workshop held 9% of the home space, so 9% of the sales price was allocable to it. more than $18,000. Now, this is the couple's position. The workshop added only $4,000 to the value of their home, so its sale value was only that much. So they went to court, and this is what the judge actually had to say. When the couple sold the home, the real estate agent obtained 2 appraisals of it that gave an average value to the workshop of $6,500, and that was the value that was going to be used by the court. So, go figure. Makes sense to me, right? You got 2 appraisals with an average. That's the way you should have done it in the very first place, for Pete's sake. How about this? The IRS loses. The right to a speedy trial is violated. Now, Paul Mendoza was convicted of filing false tax returns, but protested that his trial hadn't begun until 10 years after he was indicted. So his constitutional right to a speedy trial had actually been violated. Here's the IRS's position. Before being indicted, Mendoza had left the country for 8 years, so it couldn't arrest or even try him. This is what the Court of Appeals said. The IRS had contact information from Mendoza, but had done almost nothing to inform him of the charges against him. He didn't know of the indictment, so he hadn't fled. And he had even returned a call to the IRS made to his wife. The IRS lack of effort to inform him of the case was prejudicial, so his conviction was reversed. Makes sense. The IRS continually tries to make their own rules, that they don't have to abide by, right? But you and I do. How about this? The IRS loses. Getting expert advice saves penalties from an abusive investment. 3 couples invested in a partnership that promised both business profits and tax benefits. The IRS later held it to be an abusive tax shelter and imposed negligence penalties on the couples. They replied that they had checked the bona fides of the business before investing. The IRS told the court that other investors in the same shelter had been held liable for the penalties. So they went to court. This is what the judge said. These couples show that they had paid reputable professional advisors a reasonable amount relative to the size of their investments to investigate the partnership for them before they actually invested. So they hadn't been negligent, as the IRS was trying to say. Shame on them. Just shame on them. Let me give you one more. The IRS loses. A retiree does not owe tax on an insurance policy owned by the firm. Here's the case. Joseph Dyer was a partner in a law firm that in 1978 bought an insurance policy on his life payable to his wife, Mary, to pay her the value of his interest in the firm if he died. Now, Joseph retired in 2001, and the firm let the policy lapse. The lapse resulted in $18,000 of taxable income to the policy owner that the insurance company reported to Mary on a Form 1099, and that the IRS thus taxed to the Dyers. Now, they protested. They went to tax court. This is what the judge said. The law firm had been the policy's owner, paying the premiums and arranging the policy for its own benefit. There was no evidence that Mary had ever received an $18,000 payment or benefit, so the Dyers escaped the tax. And that's exactly what you would expect. It just, come on, isn't it just common sense? Yeah, I think it is. When you start thinking about it, it is nothing more than common sense. Now, wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall when the IRS is doing stuff? Well, that's where we're at right now when we talk about inside the IRS. Oh, yeah. Let me give you this one situation. Remember, we're not talking about a tax case here, but we are talking about precedent that is set up because of decisions that the IRS has made. In this particular case, a poorly executed estate plan or tax plan is targeted by the IRS. A cautionary tale here. Professional advice was obtained in an effort to save estate tax, and as a result, a family limited partnership was formed. Now, here's the big problem. Real property was not transferred into the family limited partnership until 2 days before the actual taxpayer died. Now, the IRS contended that the decedent had retained the current economic benefit of the assets transferred to the trust, and so the value of the real estate and other assets of that family limited partnership were therefore included in her taxable estate. Now, the best defense when setting up your own family limited partnership, make sure that it is established for a legitimate and significant non-tax reason. Then follow all the appropriate rules for making sure that the integrity of that family limited partnership will be respected by the IRS. That's how you do it. Now, do not go away, because waiting in the wings is our own Joel Saltzman, Dr. Wireless, and I can't hardly wait to find out what he's got for us today. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the Street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 3:34 p.m. Pacific Time. Currently 89 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, he's waiting in the wings. Every week I can't hardly wait for our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman, to come in here, because he's always got not only really interesting facts, but you know what? He's got information that'll absolutely save you money. So help me welcome aboard our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well, Robert. How about yourself?
I'm doing well. I mean, the temperature is not only under 100, it's under 90. I'm guessing that you're a little ticked off because you had to come in from surfing the waves to talk to me today.
Well, I was out this morning, and it's kind of hot right now, so I'm in the got the fan on behind me, full blast.
Well, so here's the deal, Joel. If you're the man that I think you are, you're actually in air-conditioned comfort, sitting in a wonderful lounge chair with a cocktail of choice sitting in your hand, with a fan blowing against your face, probably a ceiling fan, and just getting ready to give us a wonderful report on what's going on in the wireless industry today.
Well, no cocktail, no air conditioning, fans on full blast, and I got a fresh cup of coffee in my hand, but otherwise you nailed it on the head.
So, listen, what's new and exciting in the wireless industry today?
Oh, I've got some stuff. It's amazing. The carriers never cease to amaze me, and you're going to love this one. I don't know if you heard about this one yet, but the guy from California who's an AT&T customer who decided he would send an unexpected email to the CEO of AT&T, and he just wanted to make a few suggestions, for him to mull over. So he sends this email, "Hi, I have 2 suggestions. Please don't contact me in regards to these. These are just suggestions. Why don't you allow unlimited data for DSL customers, particularly those in neighborhoods not serviced by UVerse? Bring back text messaging plans like 1,000 messages for $10, or create new plan, messages for $7." And then he signs it, "Your lifelong customer, Alfred Valerie." Now, this guy is a quadruple play, meaning he's on some bundle where he's got his DSL, he's got his phone service, he's got his wireless service, he's got his cable TV, and he's been getting his service for a long time from AT&T.
He's got it all.
You with me?
Yep.
Okay. AT&T responds. Their lawyer responds, "We have a policy of not entertaining unsolicited offers to adopt, analyze, develop, license, or purchase third-party intellectual property from members of the general public. Therefore, we respectfully decline to consider your suggestion." Is that amazing?
Oh, I can't believe it. Is that the most ridiculous? That is absolutely ridiculous.
Well, you can believe that John Laguerre of T-Mobile loved that, and
called him.
He stated AT&T obviously doesn't like to hear from its customers, but the Un-carrier does, so we're stepping into the void. Anybody who wants to give us any advice or has thoughts about improving the wireless service and the wireless industry, please contact me at johnlaguerre@tmobile.com.
You know what? What an opportunity. What a stupid response. Jesus.
Yeah, and he didn't even stop there. He also promoted an email account and a Twitter hashtag that calls for customers to make suggestions to the AT&T CEO. And starting today, they can send their ideas to ideasforrandall@tmobile.com.
I tell you, you know what? Oh man, you know what?
Isn't that silly?
That is when I got that would be the same moment that I canceled everything with them.
Well,
regardless of the plan, I'd cancel. I would just be so upset. I think I'd just cancel everything.
Well, then who would you go with, Verizon?
Well, why would I go with Verizon when I could go with T-Mobile?
That's a great answer, and I'll give you some information that you may not have heard about. This is also just as mind-boggling to me, and we've talked about this before, about how Verizon is watching you, and that they're doing something. They're tracking your internet behavior unbeknownst to you, and you have to opt out. It's not something, to me, I think they should make you opt in if you want to, do this, but you have to opt out. And what happened is now that they bought AOL, what they're doing is they're trying to track everything and bring everything together. So they're linking their Verizon advertising program information to their AOL stuff. The reason this isn't good is, in addition to being an invasion of privacy, which is perfectly legal because, it's implied rather than implicit consent, they're putting their customers' personal data at risk. And the reason is that this is a default setting where everybody, is having them place these cookies on their computers. And, if you dig deep, you can find out what's going on, and you can they give you a website where you can go to, and you can physically opt out of this. But there's a group that just did a study, I think it was called ProPublica, But they found out that they're tracking your internet behavior in order to serve targeted ads, and the company's actions are more egregious than many, and because they're exposing their customers' personal info to hackers, because this is going out unencrypted.
Well, I wonder
what's happening is.
I wonder to what extent, Joel. I mean, there you are, Verizon, this big giant, right? And then, of course, your AOL, which is another big giant. They were two independent companies, and I understand that all of a sudden now Verizon owns AOL, but to what extent is that an infringement of my privacy? I gave AOL no permission to share my stuff with any other companies, right? You still with me? Joel, you with me?
Unencrypted from AOL to Verizon or Verizon to AOL. So it's a dangerous precedent, and it's just one of those problems of being involved with one of these large companies that seems to flaunt the rules.
Wow.
Anyhow, how about some positive news?
Hey, positive news is always good.
All right. T-Mobile actually has brought back a great plan. They say that this was their most popular plan ever, but it was a 2-line deal. It was $100 for 2 lines. Each line got 10 gigabytes of 4G data before they throttled you. And then the third line was $20, 4th line free. So in essence, we're talking 4 lines, unlimited everything, with 10 gigs of data, not shared, each line, $120.
Wow.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad at all.
So that is to compete with AT&T and Sprint and Verizon. Everybody's got these deals going right now.
So what about last week? You were talking about Verizon and AT&T picking up the Wi-Fi issues that the Wi-Fi calls. Have we heard any more about that?
Funny you should mention that, Robert. Yes, as a matter of fact, AT&T just announced that they are now offering Wi-Fi dialing to their subscribers.
Wow!
Just announced it yesterday.
So, which means now that they have to contact, in my case, Apple so that I can get some kind of an update so that I can utilize that, right?
Yeah, in fact, exactly. What you may want to do is go under and I know you'll do this right now because you're good at that. Mm-hmm. Go under settings, phone, and see if you see Wi-Fi dialing. If you do enable it, and it may be there already.
Really?
So, did you see it?
I'm looking as we're talking. Keep talking because okay. I'm an old guy now,
All right, I knew you would do that. So anyhow, the funny thing is that we talked about this last week, and we thought it was funny because AT&T had filed with the FCC to get a waiver so they could offer voice over IP Wi-Fi dialing. They didn't dare want to offer it before they got the waiver. Well, T-Mobile's been offering it for over 6 years, since the day the first iPhone came out. And Sprint started offering it about 6 months ago. And so AT&T got the waiver. So they said, oh, great, we can now offer it. Now, what are you going to do to T-Mobile and Sprint? Because they've been offering this without your authorization. And the FCC said, well, we're going to give them the same waiver we just gave you. How's that? So AT&T is really pissed right now because I guess they didn't offer this Wi-Fi dialing. The FCC didn't care. It was a benefit for the consumers. The FCC's all for that.
Doesn't that
what are they going to do? Fine the company because they're making things better for the end user?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes sense. By the way, it's not on my phone yet, but
well, don't hold your breath, but it's coming.
Well, you know what? I've gone this long without it. I think I can be patient for it to come.
Excellent. Well, I have a lot of material, so before I forget, I just want to let everybody know that anybody who wants a little deeper dive into this content can get it at www.drwireless.com. We have a lot of this content under our blog. We also have it all under our Facebook/DR Wireless page.
Well, I got to tell you, and your website is just a treasure chest of information and opportunity. You know, I've mentioned it before, and I think I'm going to mention it again right now. And that is that, you know, when Windows 10 came out, or actually before it came out, Microsoft was supposed to contact everybody, let you know when you could actually download Windows 10. You had on your website, and you happened to tell me about it, a site where you could bypass all of that system and download Windows 10. I had Windows 10 that evening because of your website. I mean, there's so much stuff on your website, and I mean, I've enjoyed it for a long time. I love Windows 10, and I understand you have it now too. Are you enjoying it?
I am. I'm loving it, and I had to get a new computer to get it because it didn't want to download to mine like it did yours. So I have a new one, and it's working great. I love Cortana. She's awesome.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You were right.
But the point I wanted to make is that people need to go to your website almost on a regular basis to see what's new and exciting out there and to find out, what's new in the wireless world and what's available to them. And you know what? It doesn't cost them anything to use your services. If they need something, they need to be making a phone call.
You know what? I'm the best kept secret in the business. I'm a wireless consultant since 1996, and it doesn't cost more to deal with me than it costs to deal directly with the carriers. And as you know, the difference is not just experience, but unbiased advice. And I work for the end user, not the carrier, although the carrier is the one who ultimately pays me in most cases. I do have some additional support services available, but I can do everything the carriers can do and more, in that I can have devices shipped by the carrier of your choice directly to your home or office. You don't need to go to a store. I can have the billing done directly by the carrier, and you have their support and our support. So it's the best of both worlds.
Well, give out that contact information because in 25 seconds we're going to a commercial.
I hear you. Well, I can be reached at 310-400-4900 or email joel@drwireless.com. And again, www.drwireless.com is our site. Facebook/DR Wireless is the other place to get our content.
And we've been talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. We'll be right back for some more words of wisdom from Dr. Wireless after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Dr. Wireless, Joel Saltzman. Hey, Joel, you've got the microphone.
All right, Robert. Well, I've got a couple other interesting things, and I'm also going to give the 5 things your wireless carrier won't tell you. And I'm going to make everybody wait like they do for me when I want to hear about something.
And I'm guessing if they won't tell you, it's because it's going to make you mad, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
In some cases. Anyhow, I didn't know if you've heard about this, but our friends at Amazon are going into the streaming content business.
Yeah, I have heard. As a matter of fact, Amazon's doing a lot of changes.
They are. And, obviously they have their Prime Video and Prime Music, and, they have some services now, but what they want to do is they want to partner with CBS, and I believe it's Comcast, and get content and create their own live streaming service. Obviously, you need content to do that. But they're in talks right now, and they did it with books. So there's no reason they can't do it again.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's interesting. And I also noticed Apple just got sued for $862 million. And
What did they get? What did they get sued for?
It was a processing patent that the University of, I can't remember where, one of the universities, maybe it was, I'm going to have to double check, but it's a U.S. university, had the patent for, I guess, the processing that Apple is doing, the type of processing, and I guess they sued and won. And Apple now, I'm sure they'll appeal, but they may have to pay this university some serious money.
Well, you know what? If they infringed on the university's patents, shame on them. They can afford to pay it anyway.
You would think that, and it seems like a lot of these universities come up with the technology, and somebody else.
Well,
it was University of Wisconsin.
The interesting thing about universities and the research and stuff that's done there, even when it's under the auspices of a professor, and they're using student interns to do this work. Under contract, anything that's developed on the university grounds is the property of the university. So I'm guessing anything that has any potential like that, they have patented.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I work with Caltech, and Caltech is the university that invented liquid metal, and Apple has a contract with Caltech. And initially, I believe it's just the actual little, when you buy an iPhone, they give you that little thing that you stick the pin in so you can release the SIM tray.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That little thing's made out of liquid metal. And they're supposed to also make some other components out of liquid metal. I don't know if they've done it yet, but they have a contract with Caltech, and Apple's paying Caltech for this technology. Apparently what happened is Apple's had this A7, A8, and A8X processors that used, I guess these are the 5S, the 6, and the 6 Plus, and then some iPads. And apparently this University of Wisconsin has the patent, and Tuesday the company, I guess they filed a jury They filed a dispute, and the jury agreed Tuesday the company infringed on this patent and that Apple owes some money to the University of Wisconsin.
Well, you know what? Good for the University of Wisconsin.
That's my feeling. That's my feeling. Apple can afford it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I don't know why I'm laughing. But you know what? There's going to be some good done with that.
Have you also heard now we have Microsoft's Skype for Business out now?
Skype for Business?
It's a brand new app. It's called Skype for Business. It just became available today in the iOS store. And it's kind of like Skype on steroids. It's a little more advanced version of Skype. Well,
you know what? Skype for a long time, when I was in practice, I didn't really use Skype because I had my own systems and things going. But basically Skype for the longest time would offer different. Well, you know what? I take it back. It wasn't Skype. I was thinking of somebody else that I was using. It was called Umail. But same thing.
I love Umail.
I do too. I love it too. And
I still use it.
Yeah, and I do too. I love that's a whole different conversation, but they always had their business package and their ultimate packages and things like that. But the truth is that the same thing with Skype. They're always going to have or offer something that is an enticement for you to pay more money every month to get it.
Exactly. I don't need what they offer. I mean, if they have a business version, a personal version, and the secretary greets you, hi, this is Joe. I just say, hi, this is Joe with Dr. Wireless.
Yeah.
So, I get around that, not a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the Skype thing's interesting because Microsoft bought Skype, and they used to have that old link service, which I never really used. I could care less about. But what they're doing is they're replacing that link with Skype for Business. So it should be interesting.
Well, the other thing I found interesting with Skype is that on my systems here, especially now with the syndication on the radio, we have special software that we're using that coordinates all these broadcasts going out at one time. And I was trying to use Skype through my computer because on one of my other programs, it worked beautifully. You call in, it would automatically answer. I could have 4 or 5 phone calls at the same time, no problem. But then when I went to the syndication on this new software that we're using, this professional software, when Skype would come on, it would cut off my encoders, and all of a sudden all these stations that we're broadcasting to got cut off the air. So now, as you already know, I've kind of gone around the corner and I actually plug my phone directly into my mixer board and kind of go through the back door with it. It just seems like software is not very, a lot of the software that you buy, professional software that you buy, is just not very compatible with Skype.
There's always compatibility issues, and Skype's funny. Some days it works great, and some days it works bad. And whenever it works great, you always get that survey, how was I?
Yes.
And I don't see it often sometimes when it was bad, but I don't know if that's just a coincidence.
It's sort of like they know, huh?
No, I don't know about that. Maybe it's just I'm subconscious. But before I forget, because I don't know, Robert, if we're going to get through all of them, but I'm going to at least try. Mm-hmm. Here are the 5 things that your carrier will never reveal. First one, with the new Apple 6S series, Apple is building in 23 bands of LTE, long-term evolution. And this is truly a global phone. There are 23 bands of different LTE frequencies, and the new iPhone has got all of them. So that means it's simple to move your iPhone from one carrier to another carrier, especially if it's unlocked.
But that's good news.
It's real good news because it's one device fits all now. The carriers don't like that.
Yeah.
The second thing, with the new zero interest finance model, there's no penalty to quit early, other than paying off the balance of the device. So, once you do that, your carrier is obligated to unlock it if you request it. And obviously, you're going to request it because the device is worth more unlocked. They have to do it, and they ask Apple to unlock it. Apple does it within 24 to 48 hours. And at that point, you can easily move your phone to another carrier. You want to go from Verizon to T-Mobile to AT&T to Sprint. It can now be done because they all support LTE.
Well, wouldn't it make
none of the CDMA and business?
Wouldn't it make sense just to tell Apple unlock it now anyway? Who knows what you're going to do in the future?
Well, yes. Well, the only way you can do that is if you buy it directly from an Apple store.
Okay.
If you buy them from an Apple store, you can get them unlocked. If you buy them from a carrier and you're going to do a lease or a finance deal or even a contract deal, the phones are always going to be locked, except with one exception. And that was number 3. You hit the nail on the head here. For some unknown reason, Verizon's iPhones, since the iPhone 5 and all the ones after that, the C, the S, the 6, the 6S, they are all shipped unlocked.
Oh, so my phone is already unlocked.
If you're with Verizon, your phone is unlocked.
I'm not. No, I'm not with Verizon.
You're with AT&T, so your phone is locked. So forget about that.
No, but I bought my phone at the Apple store.
Well, it may be unlocked then. So we can easily check that. But the beauty of this is if you have a Verizon phone, you can move it to T-Mobile anytime. The only downside is Verizon doesn't support Wi-Fi dialing, so that's been crippled, at Verizon's request by Apple. So you can't Wi-Fi dial. You can use Viber.
But that's changing. But that's isn't that what you said?
Not with Verizon.
Oh, Verizon is not changing.
Verizon does not like the idea of you operating your Verizon device on anybody else's network, even if it's your own Wi-Fi network.
Wow! But AT&T is changing.
AT&T finally.
How's Verizon going to get away with that?
Well, we've talked about this before, Robert. It's the golden rule. They got the gold. They make the rules. Yeah. If you want to play the game, you do. It blows my mind how AT&T and Verizon have like 80% of the U.S. subscribers, and T-Mobile, Sprint, and all the dozens of resellers have the remaining balance. If people knew what I knew, they would not flock to these big boys and pay more and have all their information sent all over the internet, and it just makes no sense to me.
Yeah,
that reseller, my favorite reseller that we talk about, that T-Mobile reseller. People don't need to know your name. They don't need to have any of your personal information. To have a cell phone number, you shouldn't have to have all of your personal information available on the internet, and that's what's happening.
Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Okay, so item 4.
Item 4 is your contract is not as binding as AT&T and Verizon want you to believe. I talked to a woman yesterday. She's got a contract in December and thinks she can't move or do anything until December. And I told her wrong. If you wanted to move to T-Mobile or Sprint, both of those carriers will pay $650 per user, to cover your early termination fees and device costs. So anybody can move anytime. If you're going to move off an AT&T or Verizon to a T-Mobile or Sprint, they'll buy you out. The other thing, number 5, is if you travel frequently, Sprint and Verizon and AT&T may not tell you this, but T-Mobile makes Canada and Mexico local now. I'm going to Mexico in 2 weeks. I'm going to be making, sending data, receiving data, and making phone calls for totally free because mainland Mexico is like Redondo Beach right now. It's totally local 4G everything. If I get 4G down there, it'll work.
But you also have the Wi-Fi calling, which means it would have been free anyway, right?
Exactly. And I've had to rely on Wi-Fi calling up until this trip. I was there in May. I did not have this new T-Mobile North American Global program. This is new. I had the regular program, which made Mexico free data, free texting, and 20 cents per minute calling. That's how it is for me. If you're with T-Mobile, you go in 130 countries, Europe, Asia, Middle East. That's how it is. What they just recently did is they made Canada and they made Mexico local.
Okay, 30
so
seconds.
That means if you're in Canada or Mexico, you're making local calls like you're here.
Okay.
So that being said, that was number 5. People that travel should consider T-Mobile. They're very good value. Sprint also just emulated T-Mobile and has some similar functionality. All of this stuff can be seen at Joel at www.drwireless.com or contact me, joel@drwireless.com.
Hey, Joel, this has been a fantastic segment. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful week. Go back out, get your toes wet, enjoy yourself, stay safe, stay happy, make everybody that you talk to happy because they met you.
Thank you, Robert. Have a great weekend.
All right, buddy. Now everybody, hang in there. When we come back, we're going to be with Ray Mailer with his American Grid. He's going to be talking about water. He's going to talk about the train system, the fast train. He's going to be talking the bullet train. He's going to be talking about all kinds of stuff. So don't go away. We'll be right back with Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know, Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Lineberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson & Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, & Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:07 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 85 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, my good buddy Ray Mailer is waiting in the wings, so let me give him a proper introduction and get him in here. He's got lots of news for you today.
Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye and singing, this'll be the day that I die.
And now, from the National Archives of Public Planning, located in the basement of his Long Beach Reference Library, the unappreciated but widely acknowledged expert on past, present, and future infrastructure planning, let's welcome Mr. Ray Mailer and his American Grid.
Hey, Ray, welcome aboard. You know what? Another week, another Ray. I can't hardly wait. And, man, you've got some exciting stuff to talk about today. But before we get into that, I want to know how your weekend was.
My weekend was very good, really good. A lot of quiet time with the family, a little bit of play, some good meals. I guess the weather was a little bit toasty, so we did tend to stay inside. But yeah, it was a nice weekend. Got some good relaxation.
Well, that's good news, because you know what? In about 8 days from now, you're sort of in training for a major celebration next week, right?
Oh, come on! This one isn't that major of a celebration.
Anytime you can check off one more, that's a good thing, my friend.
Well, that's right. That sounds like some advice my grandfather gave, which was, if you're lucky, you get to grow old.
Yes, absolutely. So you know what? I'm all excited. Looks like you've got a full segment going today. But the first thing I'm dying to hear about is the Gold Line Rail to Ontario.
Yeah, exactly. You and I have talked about Ontario Airport from time to time, and I think we both view it as an untapped resource. And we had last time we had discussed, what was it going to take to get more nonstop flights at Ontario, especially since the city of LA has agreed to release the airport to the city of Ontario and a joint powers authority that's going to oversee its operation. So, I think you and I agree that, it would be great to have more nonstop flights to meaningful places flying out of Ontario Airport.
Yeah.
And I came across some information at a right-of-way function last week where we're looking at figuring out a way to get perhaps 1 million new passengers a year into Ontario.
Wow.
And there's a gold line, light rail line, that currently runs from LA's Union Station and goes to the east side of Pasadena. And we have just finished construction of an additional 22-mile piece of it that extends all the way to Azusa. Operations are going to start early next year. And then another 17-mile extension will take it all the way to the San Bernardino County line in Montclair.
Wow.
Which leaves that light rail line just 8 tantalizing miles from Ontario Airport. And so, but at this point, because we've changed counties, we've changed jurisdictions, and so San Bernardino's transportation authority, its local transportation authority called Sandbag, that's
a good name for it too.
No, not sandbag, but.
Oh, okay. I you know what? I just misheard you. That. but you knew exactly what I thought I heard.
Yeah, exactly. Well, some acronyms are better than others. Just like that San Diego area water agency that coined the term toilet to tap, just did not sell the water program.
I have got to tell you, I have toilet to tap.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow!
There had been a worldwide meeting of water professionals, and they had some sort of marketing meeting. How do we sell our various infrastructure improvements, to the people who pay for this? And somebody said, well, make sure you just don't name your program Toilet to Tap. It just doesn't fly.
Boy, I'll tell you, holy cow! I'd stop drinking water, man. So listen. So does that mean let's just assume that that the Gold Line actually goes to Ontario? Does that mean that you could take it? Then in order to take it in the reverse back to Union Station, you'd have to go from Ontario to Claremont to did you say Glendale or Pasadena?
Through Azusa to Sierra Madre and Monrovia and Pasadena.
So it could take you longer to get to Union Station than driving.
Or faster if you're stuck on the 210.
Yes, that's true. That's true. That's true.
But I think the exciting part here is, and the study I read kind of bore it out. Right now, Ontario Airport, draws closely from Inland Empire communities. Mm-hmm. And Sandbag studied the possibility of adding this Gold Line service, and it looks like Ontario Airport would then pick up about 1 million passengers per year from the foothill communities. basically all these cities from Montclair to Pasadena.
Well, that's actually pretty swift if you think about it. You don't have to park your car. You don't have to throw your bag on the train, take the train to the airport, get on the plane, and you're gone. That could even be cost effective.
Yeah, definitely cost effective, a great investment, and again, if you're getting 1 million new passengers, just like you, who I'm sure will want to fly straight to New York instead of stopping in Omaha.
Absolutely.
Just get straight there. That could bode well, because as you and I know, you just need a critical mass of passengers when you start getting really convenient air service.
Oh yeah, and so how many passengers is Ontario accommodating now? I mean, 1 million passengers. That sounds like a lot, man.
Yeah, it does. It's currently processing between 3.5 and 4 million per year.
Oh, so you're talking about a 25% increase potentially.
Indeed. And the other interesting thing, although this might tend to just draw from folks who are currently driving, Sandbag also studied extensively using Metrolink to get to Ontario Airport. But all those passengers would tend to be coming from basically the foothill communities east of the airport.
Yeah.
Out to Riverside and San Bernardino.
Wow.
So that struck me as a great solution, because I'm sure quite a few people who live in the LA County foothill communities aren't too fond of trying to get to LAX.
Oh no, of course not. You know what?
Yeah, traffic's a mess.
Yeah, when you, especially going in that direction.
You got to get through downtown LA, through the west side. Ugh.
Yeah, I could see. I mean, instead of parking at the Gold Line lot or at Union Station, I would just take a cab from my home to the station, and not have to pay for parking in either place. The cab is going to be a lot less expensive than what parking would have been.
And somebody else does the driving. Absolutely. And you get on the train, and you know what? You read the paper, you listen to your the news on your iPhone or whatever you're using, and that could be very relaxing. Especially if you were listening to Robert Cardoza live.
And for that, what they need to do is to get my new app, and all they've got to do is go to the Apple Store and search Robert Cardoza Live. It's absolutely free. You can listen to all my archives, listen to us live if you want to, chat with us while we're on the air, or you can actually go, if you've got a Windows product or an Android product, just go to googleplay.com, do the exact same thing, and it's absolutely free. And then while you're on that train, you could be brought up to date, and you can listen to yesterday's show and find out that by listening to yesterday's show, it brings you up to date in the news today. I'm glad you brought that up, Ray.
And I'm glad I did too, and I can vouch for the Apple app. So works nicely.
But you know what? It's interesting. I had a conversation with Joel Saltzman just prior to you coming on. We were talking about technology, and one of the big problems I've had since we started syndicating was the new software that I had to install. The new software that I've installed is not compatible with the Skype system that I was using for people to call in. So that when it works out. It's beautiful. I loved it. It automatically answers. I don't have to pay attention to it. It does all these things. But then it was all this new software. When somebody would call in on Skype, it would disconnect all my encoders. And so all these stations that I've contracted to broadcast on weren't getting the signal. So I wound up going around the back door here, and I've plugged a phone into my master board here and the mixer, and gone around the block with it. But the problem with that is that when people call in and we answer their call, they get nothing. They don't hear this. They don't hear the program. They don't hear the commercials. They don't hear anything until I turn the microphone on for them. So they don't even know if they've really connected. Right now, if they have the app on their phone, they can be listening while the show is going on, and even if they're on hold, know that we're going to get to them and know where we're at in the show. And if we're in a commercial, we're going to get to them right afterward. And that's one way to find out.
Well, Oh, that sounds very good. Sounds like a nice improvement.
Yeah, so that works out. So listen, I want to hear a little bit. What the heck time is this? Wait a minute. You know what? We're going on a commercial break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Department of Transportation is proposing an extension and expansion of the Transportation Infrastructure Grant Program. And so you're going to tell us all about that, right?
I am indeed.
Okay, we'll be right back with our own Ray Mailer and the American Grid after these brief messages. Don't go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, General Family Dentistry and a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're talking to our own Ray Mailer with his American Grid. And when we went to our commercial break, we had suggested that what we were going to talk about was the Federal Department of Transportation proposing an extension and expansion of the Transportation Infrastructure Grant Program. So before we can actually talk about that, Ray has to tell us what the hell it is.
Indeed. Yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Sorry about that, Ray.
Not a problem. Well, back in 2009, we may all recall that the federal government was kind of taking a depression approach to spending, or an FDR sort of approach to spending. So they tried to kickstart a lot of construction projects. One of them was something called the Tiger Program, Transportation Investment Generating Economic Recovery. And this grant program was intended for the various state departments of transportation for rail, road, transit, and port projects. And it's been largely a very successful program in the last 6 years. It's funded 342 different projects in all 50 states, worth $4.1 billion. But the DOTs received applications for 6,000 projects.
Wow.
Worth $124 billion. So basically, your odds were 1 in 17 of getting your project funded. I think the odds are better for being admitted to Harvard.
Yeah.
So kind of recognizing that the feds are recognizing that the states, really do want to do a lot to improve their transportation in all of these key areas. The Federal Department of Transportation recently proposed to Congress kind of a Tiger Part 2 that they're calling the Grow America Act, and they're proposing $7.5 billion in additional funding over the next 6 years. Potentially, all told, if Congress approves this particular act, we could be looking in the end at almost $12 billion over the past 12 years.
Well, all of these presidential candidates, or the majority of them, certainly Donald Trump and I think Bernie Sanders, and I'm not so sure about Hillary Clinton, but a lot of these presidential candidates are all saying that they would like to start a massive infrastructure rebuilding upon them being able to sit down behind the chair in the Oval Office. Of course, all these candidates historically have made lots and lots of promises that never get kept anyway. But that's one that I think would not only be good for the infrastructure, because we really need to have it, but it would be terrific for the economy if you think about pouring those dollars in instead of wasting them. And there are easy ways to actually get these dollars. It sounds like a difficult thing, but you could actually get close to $1 trillion with some very easy manipulations. So if you think about what's going on, are you kidding? We got $3 trillion offshore, for Pete's sake. We could make a deal with these big companies that got money offshore, let them repatriate that money back into the United States, give them the a 3% tax rate if we can use the money for the next 5 years or 10 years. They'd be happy to do it, for gosh sakes. And we get this infrastructure taken care of. We get the economy taken care of. We get the jobless taken care of. I'm on a pedestal, huh?
You are, but I agree with you. I'm out here in the choir saying, "Hallelujah! Yes, absolutely."
I didn't intend to go that far. As my mind started to wander, and I started thinking about some of these things, there's a lot that can be done.
Indeed. Yeah, I was very happy to see that the Federal Department of Transportation, basically proposed almost a doubling of the amount spent to date. And just so you know, $7.5 billion might not sound like a tremendous amount of money when you think about spreading it across 50 states. And part of the magic in that is the $7.5 billion, which really isn't huge when it comes to a federal expenditure. Mm-hmm. What they really used is the local departments of transportation tend to use this Tiger funding as part of a cocktail of funds to build the really big projects. It's rare that a big project has a single funding source. They usually have 4, 5, 6, 7, even more. And it's great, when the feds come in, let's say you've got a, $2 billion project, you found $1 billion locally, 100,000 or $1 million here, a few million there. And then the feds come in and say, well, this looks like the sort of program that meets our key criteria, and we could come in with another $500 million, and voila, what had been perhaps just a dream becomes a real project.
Yeah.
And
Excuse me. The thing is, and that's kind of a standard operating procedure. If you think in terms of any large project, whether a commercial project, whether it be maybe a new hotel in Las Vegas or any new projects like that, the truth is the money for those projects do not come from a single source. They don't come from just investors or just one or two banks. They come from a lot of different sources because they need to spread out the liability that's going on there. That's the same thing you're talking about with regard to the Department of Transportation. And that could come from a number of sources. I mean, look what happened when you think in terms of Fast Track and Easy Pay and all those things. Those are all private companies that got involved in fixing the infrastructure, getting these things going. It's self-paying and winds up becoming the property of the state that they're in, 20 years down the road.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, those are excellent examples of public-private partnership. Privately funded, maybe with some state or federal backing, but locally funded. Money comes in from the tolls, goes out towards the maintenance, and what do you know? You have a nicely maintained freeway or tollway, that's available for use by millions of citizens, every month. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I mean, that's an exciting thing, and I really do. It's torn between becoming an economic issue and becoming a political issue. Infrastructure in this country should not be a political issue. It should be an economic issue, and it should be a maintenance necessity issue. Are we going to just let our roads deteriorate to the point we can't even drive on them anymore? Are we going to have potholes so big they swallow cars, for Pete's sake? Are we going to let bridges become so dilapidated that they're going to be a danger to society? This just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and every once in a while we get the painful reminders. With recent bridge collapses, those are the ones the media will jump all over, and we as citizens should know about it. The kind of the unfortunate aspect of funding, I agree with you. Any piece of infrastructure should stand on its own economic foundation. Yeah. But reality, whether at the state or federal level, especially at the federal level, tends to be, does my district benefit? And if my district benefits, then you've got my vote. But if you're not going to build a bridge in my district, and hence no jobs, and hence no infrastructure improvement, I might be inclined to vote no. And maybe say, we should be spending responsibly.
I believe in spending responsibly, but I also believe in budgeting. And the truth is if you're going to build, let's use the Golden Gate Bridge as let's use the Oakland Bay Bridge as an example, because they just finished rebuilding the Oakland Bay Bridge. And the truth is that when you're going to build a bridge of that stature, you don't just build it and then leave it alone for the next 50 years, for Pete's sake. You do the same thing with that you do with the Golden Gate Bridge. The Golden Gate Bridge is being maintained 24/7. There are guys on that bridge 24/7, and they have budgeted that maintenance on an annual basis so that they don't ever have to worry about that thing falling apart in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And something important to remember about the Golden Gate Bridge and the Oakland Bay Bridge is a lot of that maintenance is funded by the tolls. Yeah. So, So the Golden Gate stays beautiful and that interesting rust-colored orange, because of the toll that you pay to go over the bridge.
So let me ask you this. When you have those tolls and you have all that going on, does the Golden Gate Bridge belong to the state of California, or does it belong to the federal government? Who does it belong to?
The answer is it depends, but formally it is owned by the state of California. But both the State Department of Transportation, Caltrans, and the federal Department of Transportation have responsibility because it is it's also part of Route US 101, and so feds come in, and again, just for the maintenance of a piece of infrastructure like that, we again have kind of a cocktail of funding, federal, state, and toll, that all go to contribute to keeping the bridge in good shape.
Well, that's interesting. Because it's You know what I find interesting is that, here we have Yosemite National Park and Sequoia National Park, and then we have, Hoover Dam, and then we have the Golden Gate Bridge and the Oakland Bay Bridge. We got bridges coming out of our ears. We have all of these things, and you never give any thought to who owns it, who maintains it. Is it on the surplus side or is it on the deficit side? And then what's going on? We as citizens who enjoy all of these things don't give it any thought other than the money we have to pay at the toll as we go through.
That's right. Or when there's a funding crisis, when tax revenues are down and legislatures start saying, well, we're going to have to make some cuts, and that's when we start paying attention to, okay, how much does it cost to maintain that bridge or that freeway or or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when we start paying attention.
Yeah, isn't that sad?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the thing is that I don't understand, when we have a gas tax, and that gas tax is supposed to go for the roads, right? Isn't it supposed to go for the infrastructure of California roads and transportation? I don't understand why they haven't budgeted that properly and that we let things deteriorate to the point that they did.
Yeah, well, the issue that's been happening in recent years has actually been a reduction in tax revenue because mileage has increased on vehicles. So people are driving just as many or more miles, causing just as much or more wear and tear on the roads, but the revenue is falling short. And that's why at the state and the federal level, we're seeing insufficient funds in the highway trust funds.
Which takes us back to a conversation that you and I had a month or so ago, and that is that they have to have, you were talking about in California, they were talking about doing this, but they need to do it on a national basis. They need to come up with a reasonable, fair system based on usage for people to pay. They have in the East, they have toll roads, and they don't have the fast track. They have toll roads. The entire freeway is a toll road, right? And so you want to go, you pay $1.50 or you pay $5 or whatever it is, and you're going to go the next 20 miles or 30 miles, whatever it's going to be, and that money is to maintain that thing. So if we had to have toll roads, if you don't want to pay the toll, then take surface streets and then let your gas tax take care of it. Otherwise, pay the toll.
Yeah, exactly. Pay as you go makes a lot of sense, and it's a great revenue source. It kind of also becomes a communication tool back to the transportation authorities. If say, even despite a high price, people are heavily using a toll road, well, that tells the transportation officials something.
Okay, so listen, I let us run long, and I'm sorry about that because we only have 30 seconds, but I'm going to let you run a little bit longer because I need to know about the high-speed rail fact I didn't know, and I need to know about the water fact I didn't know.
Okay, all right. The high-speed rail fact you may not have known was that the French and Japanese high-speed rail systems, which have been operating for 30 years, mm-hmm. they have done so with not a single passenger death.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Imagine that.
Wow. That's fantastic. Cross your fingers and knock on wood. How about water?
On the water side, I came across an EPA estimate from just a couple of years ago. EPA says we need to invest $384 billion over the next 20 years to replace existing infrastructure and to build new infrastructure to accommodate growth.
All right. So, you know what? We either start sleeping in separate bedrooms or we just go ahead and accommodate the growth. Having said that, Ray, as usual, I don't know where the time goes. Jesus. This is amazing. This was a fantastic show. I want to thank you for it. I want you to have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the week. I want you to be safe on your trip home tonight. Don't forget to give your lovely wife a hug and a kiss from me and enjoy yourself. Have a nice cocktail when you get home tonight.
Sounds like a great idea. Thanks, Bob.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Now, don't go away. When we come back, we're going to talk about the birthdays for the day, the secret daily teaching for your life, the Harvard business tip of the day, and interesting but useless facts. We'll be right back after these brief messages. Do not go away.
If you want to increase your client base and sales, then consider this, the Relationship Building Network at RBN. Given the current economic conditions and challenges, we all need to work smarter, make smarter decisions, invest our hard-earned dollars where it'll yield the best return for our investment. Many business professionals claim that the most effective networking group in Orange County is RBN. No other networking group or organization can offer what RBN offers. Make every year your best year. Join RBN and start reaping the benefits today. You know, nearly 3,000 businesses have joined RBN and experienced those benefits. Why join RBN? It's one group. It's one membership. It's no renewals. It's all through Orange County. RBN is a freestyle networking group. No mandatory attendance, no restrictions, no rules, and no penalties. Call them at 949-830-5776 or go to their website at rbninfo.com. That's 949-830-5776. If you've ever dreamed of having your own business to make your life secure, you know Water's Edge Wineries might be just the ticket. In 2004, their founder, Ken Leinberger, created the first winery franchise in California. It was a new concept with all of the functionality of a traditional winery, but without the vineyards. They purchased high-quality grape must from one of the largest winemaking companies in the world. Then they craft each wine carefully and bottle it right at their location. The winery was built to satisfy consumer demand for wine by the bottle and by the glass, but still kept the element of allowing customers to bottle their own custom vintage. Now, they're opening urban wineries across the United States under the brand Water's Edge Wineries. If you've ever dreamed of owning your own winery, it may be in reach right now through Water's Edge Wineries. Just give them a call at 909-468-9463, extension 700. That's Water's Edge Wineries, 909-468-9463. Have you ever found yourself caught between a rock and a hard place? The law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett might be just the answer for you. The attorneys of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett have been serving the Inland Empire since 1989. They're dedicated to the aggressive litigation of civil, criminal, and real estate matters. Over the years, they have recovered tens of millions of dollars for their clients. The firm's practice specializes in litigation of personal injury, accident, slip and fall, real estate, and criminal law cases. The firm provides clients with the care, accuracy, and dedication of experienced attorneys. Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett is located at 10300 4th Street, Suite 150 in Rancho Cucamonga, California. They've been providing the Inland Empire residents with outstanding legal services for over 25 years. They look forward to providing you with aggressive legal representation. Call them at 909-945-5000, where you can talk to a person, not a machine. That's 909-945-5000, the law offices of Blomberg, Benson, and Garrett. And now let's get back to our show where we talk about politics, money, and you.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:41 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 85 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, you know what today is, right? It's Wednesday, October the 14th, and it's somebody's birthday. And you know what? We all know this man, or we should have. He was born in 1890, died in 1969. He was a 5-star general in the Army and the 34th President of the United States from 1953 to 1961. Happy birthday, Dwight David Eisenhower. And here's another person we all know. He was born in 1927, an actor perhaps best known for portraying James Bond in 7 films from 1973 to 1985. Happy birthday, Roger Moore. And then finally, here's a young man that everybody knows, born in 1978, a singer, an actor, a recording artist, and who rose to fame in the 1990s, releasing the multi-platinum album, My Way. Happy birthday, Usher. Well, what happened today in history? I can tell you that in 1789, George Washington proclaims the very first Thanksgiving Day. Yep, Thanksgiving Day on October the 14th. Yeah. Well, in 1926, the children's book Winnie the Pooh by A.A. Milne is first published. And in 1964, American civil rights movement leader Martin Luther King Jr. becomes the youngest recipient of the Nobel Peace Prize. And finally, in 1982, U.S. President Ronald Reagan proclaims the war on drugs. Now, that was a good thing? Sounds like a good thing. But that's also why we have such an overcrowding in the prisons in the United States. I think it's time that we take a second look at it and make some adjustments. I don't know what you think, but let me know. Well, our quote for today comes from Gertrude Stein. We all know who she is. And she says, silent gratitude isn't very much use to anyone. Boy, isn't that the truth? Yeah, I mean, just think about it. It's absolutely the truth. Well, let's talk about the secret daily teaching for your life. It's all about a positive mental attitude. And the secret for today is, this is a universe of inclusion, not exclusion. Nothing's excluded from the law of attraction. Your life is a mirror of the dominant thoughts that you think. All living things on this planet operate through the law of attraction. The difference with humans is that they have a mind that can discern. They can use their free will to choose their thoughts. They have the power to intentionally think and create their entire life with their mind. Think about it. Control your own life. That's what we're talking about. Well, let's talk about the Harvard business tip of the day. And you know what? Doggone it. You know what? If this doggone thing always, acts up on me. But the management tip today is, help your team stop fearing data. Well, data is permeating the nooks and crannies of every industry, which understandably makes many people nervous about their jobs, teams, and companies. Fear can paralyze both teams and individuals, so good managers don't allow it to fester. To help your team stop fearing data, start by reading and studying. Find books and news articles that are relevant to your industry. Next, practice using data. Pick something that interests you, then gather some data on it. Create sample plots. Compute some statistics and ask yourself what that data actually means. As your knowledge grows, push forward. Dig into other data sets. Learn the difference between causation and correlation, and share what you find with your team. Finally, bring data into your daily work. Challenge your team to gather all relevant facts when making decisions. Using data in your everyday routines will help everyone feel more comfortable with it. That, my friends, is a guarantee. Now, let's talk about those interesting but useless facts. Did you know that the smallest number spelled with an A is the 1,000? It's thousand, A-N-D. Yep. How about this? Did you know that the pi symbol, or the pound symbol, is often referred to as the number sign or pound sign? Its actual name is an octothorpe. Isn't that interesting? I didn't know that. How about this? Did you know that humans have 46 chromosomes? Peas have 14, and crayfish have 200. Now, there's something to think about. Humans have 46. Peas have 32 less, and crayfish have 154 more. There's a lot to think about these days, isn't there? How about this? Benjamin Franklin had poor vision and needed glasses to read. He got tired of constantly taking them off and putting them back on, so he decided to figure out a way to make his glasses let him see both near and far. He had 2 pairs of spectacles cut in half and put half on each lens in a single frame. Today, we call them bifocals. Invented? Yep. Benjamin Franklin. And how about this one? The world's longest name is Adolf, Blaine, Charles, David, Earl, Frederick, Gerald, Hubert, Irvin, John, Kenneth, Lloyd, Martin, Nero, Oliver. How'd you like to sign his legal documents? Did you know that for every M&M that you eat, you have to run the length of a football field to burn that off? Give that some thought. And let me leave you with this. Months that start with a Sunday always end. It has a Friday the 13th. Yeah. That's it. Now, don't go away, because when we come back, we're going to deal with the emails for the day. The first one comes from Lawrence Berland. He's emailing me from Milford, Connecticut, asking about mortgage deductions. I'll tell you all about that right after these brief messages. Do not go away.
Isn't it time to shine the spotlight on your expertise? The Interview, starring you. Here's your chance to capture 5 minutes of fame with The Interview. This isn't just any interview. This is your opportunity to showcase your expertise and position yourself as a trusted expert in a one-on-one video interview hosted by Robert Cardoza, host of the nationally syndicated show Robert Cardoza Live and powered by AHA Studios. What is it? A professionally recorded video for your use. Robert Cardoza interviews you on the set where he records his show. Professional interview showcases your expertise and value, shot in a state-of-the-art studio. And what's in it for you? Gain credibility as an expert, earn the trust of your target market, educate in a way that intrigues your audience, gain a powerful marketing tool that offers dozens of uses, website, video sharing sites, social media, email, DVDs, direct mail, lobby video, resumes, profile building, all that kind of stuff. Association with the nationally syndicated celebrity. That's right. And let's talk about AHA Studios. AHA is a strategic marketing firm that leverages the powerful in visual persuasion to help your business create powerful messages that connect with your target market. AHA ventures way beyond strategy, delivering the marketing collateral you need to start driving a new business through your doors. AHA has a full-service, in-house, state-of-the-art production studio to bring your messages to life using video. Discover how to make The Interview work for you. Call 949-831-2222. That's 949-831-2222. AHA Image Studios, Incorporated. Dr. Stephen Tidwell, Gentle Family Dentistry in a caring, personalized environment. Here at Dr. Tidwell's office, we are dedicated to helping you keep your teeth healthy. We are a state-of-the-art dental practice that still believes in traditional values, such as excellent customer service and individual attention. We have a special welcoming offer for you for just $39, a complete exam, personal consultation, professional cleaning, and all necessary x-rays. That's a $266 value for $39. Dr. Tidwell has 2 convenient locations and experienced staff to provide you with professional care and personal attention that you deserve. Call today. Don't delay. A great smile another day. Call 909-944-7308. That's 909-944-7308 for Rancho Cucamonga or San Bernardino. Joel Saltzman is Dr. Wireless. He has turned his considerable expertise into consumer credit risk and wireless security into a highly specialized independent web-based consulting enterprise targeting consumer credit risk analysis and wireless transactional security and monitoring. He works as a wireless analyst, veteran independent agent, and consumer liaison for most wireless telecom carriers and equipment manufacturers. For more than 20 years, corporate and private clients and media audiences have counted on his unvarnished advice while weighing the technology, performance, and cost differences between Sprint, Nextel, AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. Joel specializes in setting up mobile wireless hotspots to be used for disaster preparedness, business continuity, and mobile wireless merchant processing solutions. Call Dr. Wireless at 310-400-4900 or go to his webpage at drwireless.com. Again, call 310-400-4900 or his webpage at drwireless.com. You'll be glad you did. And now, back to our show.
And I am Robert Cardoza. You're listening to Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. We're at 4:52 p.m. Pacific time. Currently 85 degrees here in the heart of the Inland Empire in sunny Southern California. Well, waiting in the wings is my good buddy, John Matthews. And John actually broadcasts his show Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific time, The Conservative Syndicate. And if you want to find out everything about John's show or listen to it, go to his website at theconservativesyndicate.net. And you can get everything right there. But right now, hey, John, what's on the show tonight besides me?
Well, I think we just cannot, as much as we struggled with the idea of not talking about the Democratic debate last night, it's kind of a waste of air. But there were some things that came out of that we thought were very, very necessary to discuss in terms of the demeanor of the moderators, the style on which questions were presented. The content, of course, is predictable as everybody that was on the stage. But there's aspects of this that we really need to understand, and we want to try to expound on just how controlling the media has become and influential in these types of things. That debate's no longer about learning a person's position. It's about conditioning people to accept a certain condition. So that's going to be the gist of it. And, of course, you'll be with us in the second hour. And so you'll be catching some flack, some of that, whatever we dig up in the first hour, you'll get to be part of in the second hour.
Well, you know what? And so you're going to have a fantastic show, and it's going to be wonderful. And you sound a lot better. I hope you're feeling as good as you sound.
Yes, feeling much better. Up and running at full speed. Yep, ready to go.
Glad to hear it. Hey, John, we'll talk to you in about 10 minutes.
All right. Take care.
All right, buddy. Okay, so it's time for us to do our emails. Remember, this is just an entertainment section of the show. We do our best to answer your questions comprehensively. But basically, you know what? We're going to always encourage you to contact a licensed professional before you go off and do anything. They're going to interview you, get all of the pertinent information that's necessary to give you a good, legal, comprehensive answer. And they're going to give you peace of mind, let you sleep at night. They're not going to have to worry about registered letters, people knocking on your door or phone calls. And the nice part is a licensed professional has a requirement, and that requirement is to have errors and omissions insurance or malpractice insurance, whatever you want to call it. The nice part about it is if they make a mistake in the information or the guidance they give you, they have to pay the piper, not you. And that's why you get that peace of mind. Well, first email today comes from Lawrence Berlin from Milford, Connecticut, asking about a mortgage deduction. And he says, last year I started building a new home to move into. When the home prices started falling, I stopped construction to wait to see what happens in the market. Now, I'm still living in my old home. Can I claim a mortgage interest deduction for the interest on the loan that I used to start building the new home? Well, you know, here's the deal, Lawrence. The answer to your question is when you start building a new home, you can deduct interest paid on it related financing as mortgage interest for a period of up to 24 months, provided the home becomes your main or second home at the time that it's ready for occupancy. You are still within that 24-month window, so the interest that you're incurring will qualify as mortgage interest. Now, you can deduct mortgage interest on two homes at the same time, just in case you didn't know. For more details on this and the rules, go to IRS publication 936. That's home mortgage interest deduction. You know, and that'll take care of that. Well, let's see here. We got a little bit of time here. The next email comes from Seymour Goldberg from Hillsboro, Oregon, asking about minimum distribution. Says, I retired with savings in a 401k account, 3 IRAs, and a simplified employee plan, an SEP plan. Starting at age 70 and a half, annual required minimum distribution rules apply to all of them. Can I take my total required annual distribution from any one of them, or must I take the annual distribution from each of them? Well, you know what? Here's the deal, Seymour. The annual required minimum distribution is computed separately for the 401k, but for the IRAs and SEP, it is computed on a combined basis. So you'll receive an annual distribution from the 401k in accordance with its plan terms, and you'll determine your required annual distribution from the IRAs and SEP on the basis of their combined balance, and can either take the entire amount from any one of them or divide it among them as you see fit or as you wish. So hopefully that has answered your question. Now, I want to thank you for listening to Robert Cardoza Live at the intersection of business and politics. Robert Cardoza Live broadcasts on Spreaker Radio, Roar 1776 Radio, MyCast Live Radio, and countless terrestrial stations worldwide. We broadcast every Monday through Friday from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific Time, and in 405 Media Radio every Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific Time. Please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Podomatic, Podomatic, and YouTube, where you can listen to all of my shows 24/7. Go to my website at www.robertcardozalive.com and email me at robertcardozalive@gmail.com. That's where I get all the emails I deal with here on the show. My next show, Sean LaFay with his series Geared for Wellness will be here, and John Matthews talks about the Conservative Syndicate. I encourage you to tell all of your friends about my show here on the RLC Broadcasting Network.
That's our show for today. Beginning today, treat everyone you meet as if they were going to be dead by midnight. Extend them all the care, kindness, and understanding that you can muster. Your life will never be the same again. So many of our dreams at first seem impossible, then they seem improbable, and then when we summon the will, they soon become inevitable. You know, the real secret of happiness is to make others believe that they're the cause of it. Robert Cardoza Live is brought to you by blogtalkradio.com every Monday through Friday from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific Time. Now, go out and make it a great day. Your host has been Robert Cardoza, the technical advisor, Matchstick Digital, and your executive producer, also Robert Cardoza.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed today's show as much as I enjoyed producing it for you. Don't forget to join me again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific Time or 3 p.m. Pacific Time for another installment of Robert Cardoza Live on the street at the intersection of business and politics. And in the meantime, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be happy. I want you to make everybody's life that you touch better for it and them to be happy because of it. In the meantime, I want to leave you with this. Good night, everybody.